It's me, Raj Baddhan, for BizAsiaLive.com, and I am privileged to be joined by someone who I didn't think I was going to be joined by her so soon in this series. Now, I hate to say it, but she was fired on the last episode of The Apprentice on BBC One. It's none other than Jasmine Kundra. Jasmine, it's so good to see you. I mean, I'd say it's good to see you, but you know, it's not really because I was expecting to see you. Yeah, it's good to see. It is exactly that. But how are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay, Raj. I mean, I think considering that I was fired on national TV, I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, but you know what? Even though you were fired, I don't think many people have accepted the fact that you have left the show yet.
I'm really pleased because I'm also in denial. So that's really nice to know that there are other people feeling the same thing. You know, for me, Raj, it was really disappointing because I was genuinely on the show to win Lord Sugar's investment and to win him as a business partner.
Yeah.
So I had laser focus throughout, and to be fired in week 8 was a real shock to me. And I still keep thinking that he's going to change his mind and give me a call and say, actually, I'm not sure about this job.
I mean, I was telling you about this earlier that I was out on Wednesday night, so I didn't realise that you would be fired so soon because you were one of the strongest candidates in the show. You know, you kept yourself focused, like you said. It was that kind of lazy thing going on, and it's true. I mean, you know, it was just a shame that it's happened so soon. You know, when you took the show on, did you actually think you were actually going to reach as far? Were you thinking you're going to be going to another level, maybe further up?
Raj, I was in it to win it. You know, I was so determined to do whatever it took to actually make sure that I got to that final. I had planned in my mind every single outfit, speech, strategy, the different points of the process. You know, you have the final 5 interviews. I had my game plan for the final 5 interviews. I'd researched all of the interview panels. I had, you know, when he asks you that, why shouldn't I fire you in that moment? I had my speech prepared. I knew exactly what I wanted to tell him. And even in the final, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And when he then, in the end final, he asks you, why should I hire you? I knew exactly what I wanted to say to Lord Sugar. So there's actually lots of unsaid things for me that I'd planned. And so
do you think you kind of jinxed yourself in a way?
I don't know. I think, look, you know, I think we can think that way sometimes. On the
It's very Indian, very desi.
It is. You know, we mustn't hope for the best just in case. I'm not sure I really believe that in this scenario, you know. But I think what happened is there's just no space to be complacent on The Apprentice. That moment, once it's gone, is gone forever. And for me, in that boardroom when I was fired, I relied too much on my sales figures, and I thought that would be enough to keep me safe. So I didn't speak up as much for myself as I normally have done. I didn't feel that fear that I was about to get fired. The numbers were very clear, very crystal clear to me. So to get fired, it was a real surprise, and I think that moment of hesitation is why I'm here with you today.
So after, I mean, we saw what we saw on TV on Wednesday night, and we saw the You're Fired program after. What about the bits that we didn't see? So Alan Sugar, you know, when you do meet him after he's obviously said those words, how was he like to you? And did he actually say anything about what he actually felt about you? And
do you know what, Raj? You don't get to see him.
Oh, what?
It's literally cold turkey. That's it. You're gone. You're whisked away. You're out of the process. You know, it is as harsh as it comes across on camera. And I think that's one of the things about The Apprentice, that, you know, it's not staged, it's not scripted, it's very real. The intensity is tenfold to what it appears on the screens when we watch it at home. And you don't get to see him. You don't get to have a kind of a nice, well, that was fun, thank you very much. What you say to Lord Sugar as you leave the boardroom is all you get to say, and that's it.
Wow. How would you describe the Karen and Claude? I mean, how they like?
Karen and Claude, you know, they're very good at what they do. So they are there to
There are some hilarious kind of bits in between, aren't there?
Absolutely. I mean, look, they are there to be Lord Sugar's eyes and ears. And, you know, I would always try to get their approval. You know, I'd look around and try to see if they were sort of, you know, for any signs of encouragement. Now, unfortunately, whenever I turned around, they would always just have this look of absolute disbelief, and it just really puts you on edge. So, you know, they're incredibly established in what they do in their businesses, and you have to respect get their opinion. I was just wish I could have won their approval, but I feel like I never did, so that was hard.
Going back to the episode that we just seen where you were fired,
Yes.
beside your sale figures, what else would you kind of blame? Would you blame anyone else from the episode from your team?
I mean, look, hindsight's a beautiful thing, and I would always look back on a situation and think, yeah, there's always things you can do better. I wish there was certain things I had done better. I wish I had listened to Sabrina. I wish that I had sort of actually taken her points on board. It got to the point where she had sort of been saying so much that I felt wasn't relevant. It's like she became the girl who cried wolf. You know.
Yeah.
So at that point, you're not really sure what to believe. And I was still in that state after I got fired, actually, which I'm sure you'll come on to in a moment. So I wish I had listened, and I wish that I'd sort of, you know, tried to get the team to work a little bit better together. Absolutely, I wasn't perfect on the task, and I would blame myself as much as I'd blame anybody else.
So now, watching from a viewer's perspective,
Yes.
What would you have done differently? I mean,
What would I have done differently? So I would have not have relied on Tom's heritage in art so much, because it became clear that actually he wasn't going to sell any of the art. He couldn't get the artists on board, and he couldn't get the numbers right. I kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt because he said his father was an artist, but I would have taken that away on day 2. I would have put him on merchandising, and I probably would have brought either Sean or Sabrina over with me to sell the high-end art. I think they probably would have sold it better Tom sold nothing, so you know, they couldn't have done any worse than what he did. And then for that client meeting, one of them would have been there ready and waiting. We would have had a beautiful, smooth transition and maybe sold more work.
how much did you like the art, the sculptures? How much, personally, now that, you know, we've seen the episode, how much would you say you loved it?
You know,
'Cause you love your art, don't you?
I do. I'm a creative, and I think that art is very subjective. So you can look at a painting and two people can see completely different things. You're rolling your eyes, Raj. You're not
I'm
believing
thinking exactly that,
me.
because I was looking, I'm thinking, really, is that art?
Really is that art? Now the thing is, you know, I said it on the show. My personal favourite was the line drawings that lady was doing. I thought they were beautiful and very deep, and they had such an emotional connection behind the work. So for me, that was my favourite. In terms of Solveig's art sculptures, you know, it was eclectic, and I recognise that it's not something that the average member of public would have in their homes, okay? But when you go to certain offices, certain hotels or locations, you look at certain things, it's like a big glittery owl, and you think, oh wow, that's really unusual, and you get, you know, you want to take a picture and you want it on Instagram. That is art, actually. So although that wasn't my personal taste, it was right for the client, and they bought that huge, beautiful, glittery owl. So I would say, of course, it's art. You know, there's an artist who is a serious artist who has put her heart and soul into her work. But I probably wouldn't have it in my house.
It's true, yeah. What about waking up each time in the morning to do the task?
Yes.
I mean, how did you kind of brace yourself for the day? Because I know you're from a corporate background anyway, so you were kind of ready anyway to see what, you know, Alan Sugar has got in store for you. But how do you kind of prepare yourself in that kind of way?
It's such a good question, Raj. You know, on The Apprentice, you're in this constant state of turmoil, okay? Because you're just waiting for something to go wrong, or you're stressing about something that has gone wrong, okay? But when we were on our way to a task, and there was this kind of sweet spot, this 5 minutes where you could feel good about life, okay? And that 5 minutes was, you know you're in it for another week, so that's a good thing, and you don't yet know what the next task is, so you can't stress about anything. So in that 5 minutes before you found out what the task was, you could just enjoy your surroundings. Okay, that was the loveliest moment in The Apprentice.
And then it just switches.
And then it switches, because as soon as you know it's gardening or it's this or it's that, your mind starts racing. Should I be PM? Should I let this person be PM? Am I gonna? You know, you're just constantly questioning yourself. So it was so intense, and it's like a military style boot camp, really. The Apprentice. You know, you've got to have some gumption to be able to survive, because it's very easy to snap.
And do you know, the other thing that I've noticed is that from the other candidates this year, they haven't got they may know how to talk, and they may know how to walk and do the the whole kind of business and corporate thing, but you're actually from the corporate background, and you've got that kind of experience. So this is why I feel that you've kind of been shortchanged.
I know, it's so unfair, Raj.
Because I can see you being, and I'm not just saying just because you're on camera, but just generally I can see you actually standing next to Sir Alan Sugar. So the way it all happened, just seems a bit of a blur.
It does, and I'm still quite confused. You know, I was accused of being too corporate, and I'm thinking, well, I was on a business show, so surely that was appropriate for that situation. I don't know. I think the way that I have the way that I've compartmentalized it in my mind is that I'm saying that I didn't do enough of a good job to present to Lord Sugar in that moment that I was the right business partner for him. You know, and I think when you go through scenarios like this, sometimes you feel like it's unfair, but you can't change history. You can't go back and change it. So the best thing that you can do is try to learn from it, and then tell yourself when you go forward, you will do things differently. And I wish that I had spoken up. I wish that I had made it crystal clear for him. It was crystal clear in my mind, but that doesn't mean it was crystal clear for Lord Sugar to see. And you know, Tom made that passionate speech at the end, and I think that's what saved him. So good on him. You know, I've learned something from it, and you just move on, and you know, hopefully greater things lie in store.
And do you think there's still a chance where you can work with Sir Alan Sugar? Because you know, I mean, because the end is still some time away, and you never know, he might just suddenly change his mind. Think, hang on, you know, Jasmine was actually a strong candidate.
Yes, I live in hope, Raj. I live in hope. I think it's slightly.
What if he picks the phone up to you one day and says, you know what, actually, Jasmine,
I'd be ready if he called me and said, Jasmine, there'd be a car outside in 20 minutes. I would be ready in 18 minutes to be standing outside and waiting.
Oh, that'd be incredible. Okay, so who would you want to win? I mean, that's the one question what I think everyone wants to know.
Okay, I think that there are some very strong candidates still in the process. Absolutely.
So I want to ask you, who do you want to win and who do you think is going to win?
Okay, so all right. Okay, so I want either Tom or Sabrina to win, because if they're in the final, Raj, then I can tell myself that A, my firing was justified, and B, technically I came third. So I hope one of those two win. That's who I want to win. Who do I think is going to win?
Very strategic, isn't it?
I think that Camilla is one to watch. I think Daniel is going from strength to strength, and you know, he has this very joker personality, but actually he's got business acumen and he delivers on task. So I think that's also another strong contender.
Yeah, go.
And I really like Sian as well. You know, she's calm, cool, collected.
She's cool,
and she's a great girl. So yeah, I'm happy.
Jasmine, is there one candidate you think that has kind of fluked it? Who doesn't really deserve a place?
Oh, you are being so naughty.
We need to get some meat out of you, Jasmine.
My goodness.
I think too much Miss Nice on TV.
Too nice. I think Tom is very lucky to still be in the process, and that's not just because he didn't get fired this week. Actually, on the gardening task as a tree surgeon, you know, that was a gift to him. That task was literally tailor-made, and he completely flunked it and wasn't fired. So I think that for that reason, I think he's very, very lucky to still be in the process. And so, you know, I really hope we're going to see great things from him. Otherwise, it's probably one of the only candidates who didn't go to the gym. So on rest days, a lot of them would be working out, and I would be there cooking my chicken and my roti and rice for everyone. You know, some of the candidates were incredibly disciplined. Coyote has such great discipline in terms of what he does with his diet. He would work out every single day, and I really respect people like that just have that mindset where they're so disciplined. Apart from that, you know, there was conversations about what Netflix we were going to watch and trying to get a lot of people to agree on that. I think there was once when I was so homesick, Raj, and I said, look, can I just watch something on Netflix, please? And I watched Hum Saath Saath Hai because I was so homesick, and I remember sitting there watching Hum Saath Saath Hai, and slowly they all kind of left because they were like, what is this?
Yeah, it's not a tearjerker, can be an emotional wreck of a movie, isn't it?
Yeah, I love that film. It's one of my favourite movies, and I watched it on Netflix in the house, and some of them stuck around and watched it with me, which was quite sweet.
And it's quite like 3.5 hours long, isn't it? It's quite a long film.
I didn't watch it all, to be fair.
Okay, let's talk about your personal life, because let's just find out a bit about yourself. Okay, so Hum Saath Saath Hai is quite a random choice of a movie. Is that the kind of movies you like?
I have a really eclectic taste in movies and music, actually. I love Bollywood, I love Hollywood, I love British movies, I love animated kids movies.
Yeah, like it?
And that's just come out as well as the real thing. That looks amazing. Yeah. So I'm really happy to kind of watch pretty much any kind of movie as long as it's not a horror film. Okay, so I don't do horror movies whatsoever. But apart from that, yeah, love a good comedy, love a good thriller, a good detective story, action.
Suspense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Music-wise?
Music-wise, again, very, very eclectic. I'm somebody who will listen to all of the Bollywood stuff, but I'll also listen to really kind of, I listen to Frank Sinatra, to George Michael, to Sade, to really old stuff and really new stuff. My music taste is very, very broad, so I'm kind of,
And Asian music?
Asian music, yes. So, I feel like I'm sort of a bit of a closet poet. I love shir or shairi, and for me I get really obsessed with songs, and I love the lyrics are very important to me. So if there's a word that I don't understand in an Indian song, I will have to go and research it and find out what that word means, because I enjoy languages, and I think I've been told I'm very articulate. It's just because I read a lot. So I really enjoy being bilingual.
Okay. So I was trying to come to a certain point, but we'll come to this.
You're just going to be blunt. Okay.
I'm going to ask you, what's next for you?
What's next for me? Okay, so I've just set up an events company with my husband.
Right. Can we just stop there?
Okay.
Let's just find out.
Okay.
Okay, because this is what I was trying to get at with the whole music question.
Oh, I see.
And now let's find out.
Okay.
Husband. Who is he?
Husband. Yes.
Because he's a nobody, right? He's someone that, of course, we love here at BizAsiaLive.com, and of course Subrush Radio as well. So tell me.
Yes, Raj. You want to hear?
I want to hear the name. I want to hear the name.
Yes. So it is true. I am married to Mr. Navin Kundra.
Because I know you have spoke about it, kind of like the odd occasion here and there, but you've not actually said it to a publication so outright. So this is fantastic. Navin Kundra, and how long has it been now?
We've been together for a number of years. We've been married for a couple of years. And, we've always kept our relationship very, very private. Navin is an incredible artist, and I'm not saying that because I'm married to him. He is so dedicated to his craft. I see him doing his riyaz on a daily basis, and what he puts into being able to perform to the standard that he does. He really puts the work in, and I admire his discipline massively. But for us, I've always been a very private person. We've chosen to keep our relationship private. When you go on something like The Apprentice, though, it kind of makes it difficult to keep a low profile.
I was going to say, because it does feel like your life is under a microscope, isn't it? Because everything is being kind of seen. And it's not just BBC that's interested, but there's also, of course, the national press that'd be interested in, hang on, what is Jasmine up to and what's going on here with her. So you kind of giving yourself out there, aren't you?
You are, and I think that in the past it was about, well, I didn't just want to be Mrs. Navin Kundra. Now I am Jasmine from The Apprentice, and I have people. I'm known for what I'm about, and I think that's always really important when you have your own merit behind the reasons of why people know about you, and that was important to us. So now we join forces, and together we can only be stronger.
So exactly. So you're talking about this events company that you've set up. Tell us a bit about it, because can I also add the fact that you've recently done two concerts, London and Leicester, both smash hits, both sold out, and incredibly well produced. Generally, in terms of how the production was, the dances, the singing, the singers. In fact, the singers, because as well as Navin, there were supporting acts. Just generally the whole thing, the way it was put together, very kind of like high level, high standard kind of production it was. So it's all thanks to you guys. I mean, credit to you guys that put it all together.
I'm so glad you were there, Raj, and you got to see what that show is about, because I think that seeing is believing. You can go to the most amazing location in the world, and you can try to tell somebody else in words or pictures or videos, but there's nothing that quite beats
the experience,
right? So once you've been to the show, then you know what it's about. And I would just say to everybody, encourage them to just come and see what all the fuss is about, because the fuss is definitely there, and it is definitely justified. And that's just Navin all over. He is such an overachiever, and he wanted to put on a show that would be memorable to the greatest degree, that would bring in the best in live music in terms of the quality of the sound, the dancers, Sharmak London dance crew that we have as part of that, the vocalists that we have, the engagement with the audience. So you're not there watching a show, you are part of a show, and you're making memories for yourself and for us by being there. And you know, we've had 2 sellout shows, they've been amazing, and now we're looking at putting on a tour next year. That's what's next for the Kundras, and you know, we're just joining forces and coming together, and I think you're always stronger when you're together as a family, and that's really what we're about. So all of my corporate stuff, and sort of, you know, yes, it's very useful in the corporate world, and that's what my day job is, but part of it is also about supporting my husband. You know, I'm in the boardroom by day, but by night it's backstage all the way, and you know, we all need that support to be able to go forward and reach our dreams, and now Navin and I are doing it together.
Indeed, no, it's great. I mean, because I mean, as you mentioned, you're mixing your corporate side, Navin's mixing, you know, his music side, bringing it together, and it's quite an explosive combination. You know, because we've seen Navin grow from strength to strength, but kind of working with you and doing the thing together, and to see the kind of show that you guys put on was incredible. I mean, it's fantastic. And like I said to you, it was very kind of like a Bollywood standard kind of show. So, you know, you get your singers from Bollywood. It was that kind of setup. So that's why, you know, all credit to you guys.
Thank you. And that's what we aim to keep that standard at that level, and just keep continuously improving it, making it better, and you know, putting on more shows next year. That's what's on the agenda. So
there's going to be a sequel, because we know it was Voice of Legends part 1, so there's going to be part 2.
Well, there's so many things that we've got in the pipeline.
Punjabi. I heard something like that. There's rumours that are flying around.
Yes, what was it? Voice of Punjab.
Voice of Punjab. I was like, okay.
You know, I think Navin is such a diverse artist. I don't know anybody else or I know very few people who can pull off Frank Sinatra and Bruno Mars and Mohammed Rafi and absolutely do them justice, and Navin can. So actually, who knows, you know, we are definitely planning a theme so that there will be something for everybody. Voice of Legends has been really popular because it's about music that is from the golden era, and yes, it pulls in a family audience, but we also want to make it quite clear that actually everybody can come to these shows and have an amazing time. So we will be looking to put on shows that appeal to the wider mass market.
That's brilliant.
We'd love to see everybody there.
Let's also quickly just talk about the business plan. I mean, I know we're going back to the Apprentice, but this is relating to an app, which you said you had to kind of, you know, it was part of your proposal. Tell us a bit about that, because would you be working on that now?
Yes, so I am getting some expert advice on the app, which is really what I was hoping to go through with Lord Sugar and the Final Five process. You know, you get these experts that look at it.
It's hurtful, isn't it?
I know, it's still there. Still feel it, Raj. But so I'm doing that now. I will need funding for that, so I'm still exploring that, because I need to really make sure that it's a viable idea and get some development on it, get some technology and some funding behind it. You know, there's no reason why you can only do one thing in life. You know, there is so much that you can achieve. You just have to be really focused and driven. The opportunities are there. I absolutely believe in that, and I encourage anyone who is on the cusp of deciding, should I, shouldn't I, just go for it. You know, it will always work out in the end, and if it doesn't end up being exactly the way that you want it to be, you will definitely have moved further along than if you'd done nothing at all. And actually, more doors and more opportunities will open if you just take that brave move. So, you know, I'm not going to just hesitate. I'm not going to think, well, it wasn't with Lord Sugar, that's it. No, I would love to be able to pursue it. And if I can go back to Lord Sugar and say, I created the app and named it after you, who knows? I don't know. You know, I'd love to be able to explore it, and that's what I'm working on as well. That's
good. I mean, I wish you all the best with that. That's going to be fantastic. Okay, so let's talk about the app, the kind of description, the kind of, what is the app?
Okay, so the app, Raj, it basically allows individuals and businesses to be able to organise and file and store all of their digital files and their physical property as well. So it means that people will never have to lose anything ever again. So if you've got an invoice, a receipt, a report, whatever it is that you need to find, and you know that you've stored it somewhere, you'll be able to go into my app, which will be free, and you'll be able to type in, I don't know, scan of passport or something, or just passport, and it will bring you that document that is there in your repository. If you've lost your keys, it uses augmented reality to be able to scan your room or your house or whatever and tell you where your keys are. So it's so diverse.
Wow.
It's basically comes from my obsession with being organised and having everything labelled and alphabetised. And you know, I see so many people struggling with this. Who's got time to go looking for stuff?
Yeah.
You know, if it's in the right place in the first place, you never actually have to lose anything. It's the way that I live my life, but I have a manual system that I've put into place. I'm turning that into an app, and that's what I'm looking to do.
It's great because it is all about digital technology, isn't it, these days? And doing something like that where it's something that people connect to, personal connect, isn't it? Because people can refer to think, okay, actually, I will need something like this. And there is nothing like that around, so it's good. But we're going to keep it on the DLO anyway. You don't want people nicking your ideas. Yeah, so let's just keep it on the quiet.
Well, knowledge is useless. Execution is what takes...
It's true.
You know,
it's true,
and so actually what you'll find is people like to talk about a lot of stuff, but going ahead and doing it takes so much more.
And delivering it to the high standard.
Exactly.
Yeah. Quickly, before I let you go, Navin Kundra, okay, you know, you've done
you don't ask me to
a
sing,
lot of work. I was going to ask you, any collaboration?
Any collaborations? You know, I'm always there to give Navin an early critique of his music, and I think that's about as far as it goes. I've demoed on one of his songs where he needed a female vocalist, and it was just, he said, I just want to check if a female voice is going to sound right, so will you just sing this for me? And I sang it, and he was like, right, thank you, I can now confirm a female voice is not going to work on this song. And
Was it that bad?
I was like, okay, you might want to check that with an actual female singer, so we definitely won't be on a record anytime soon.
Okay,
but, you know, there's lots of other things that I bring to the party, and I think is great.
Just going back to Navin, I mean, he's come such a long way. I mean, you've been part of his journey for some time now. What do you think for you, being his wife, has been the kind of turning point for him? I mean, there's been so many kind of like highlights in his career. What would you say has been kind of the turning point for him?
You know, I think the concerts this year have definitely been a real turning point, because for so many years Navin has been building by stealth, and he's involved in so many amazing projects. But to be able to go out and put on your own shows where somebody is paying a ticket price to come and see you sing for 3 hours, and you are the headline act, and you are really carrying the entire show, is a real moment. And I think, you know, it's what every artist dreams of, you know, going in and being in a sold out venue and being able to perform. I think also the Modi show was also a big turning point for Navin. Singing live for an audience of 70,000 was an incredible moment, and it really shows, you know, when you have to sing live, it's very difficult. And I've witnessed so many wonderful musicians and singers and artists, and when you witness somebody that can sing live and make it so flawless for the audience, it's such a special, wonderful thing. So I think Modi and Wembley was an amazing moment for Navin. He's also dabbled in Bollywood as well last year, so we haven't yet seen the fruits of that labour.
I was hoping you're gonna just splurge something out, but I don't think it's gonna come out.
Yes, we haven't seen that just yet. But you know, there's so much. The thing with Navin is he's always working hard. You know, he's constantly hustling, and it really shows in the quality of his work. So I think there's been those few milestones, and you know, onwards and upwards from here. We can only.
I agree, and also having your support now and being there for him is just going to be brilliant. I mean, I think, like I said, it's explosive, you guys working together. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. We know Figur Hilade, the song as well.
Yes.
It's brilliant. Is that the kind of music you like as well? You know, the kind of, because it's quite an item number type, isn't it?
It is
it's
very
got a kind of Baddhan kind of feel to it.
Very Baddhan, yes. And I think it's just about keeping, you know, it's about actually setting new trends and being very current in the sound that's happening. I'm not going to sit here and try to speak to you as an expert on music, but I know that Navin draws inspiration from such a wide range of music. You know, he listens to just about everything, and you know, sometimes when he's in his studio, you know, he will be obsessing over singing one particular line or even just a couple of words, and I'll come back 2 hours later and he's still perfecting you know, that line. And I find it incredible. His dedication, you know, is really what sets him apart. And I think we're just very, very fortunate that we have people that recognise that. And yes, I think live shows. I think in the live show space is really where Navin excels. You know, that's something that he can.
He is
he
brilliant.
Can do amazing.
He holds the stage well. Jasmine, before you go, final question from me.
Okay.
You've been bitten by this reality TV bug now. Any more reality TV shows? Which are doing the Indian ones?
Oh my goodness!
Imagine this.
I don't know. You know, before I went on The Apprentice, I would have said to you, "There's no way that I'm going onto a TV show."
Yeah.
But you know, Raj, I really enjoyed the process of being on a TV show. You don't appreciate how much work goes into it. There's an army of production people. They have you on a schedule, you know, and they are making sure that everything is being done in the way that it is. Now, the organisation expert in me loves that whole side of it. So actually, I would say never say never. If the right opportunity came along, then I wouldn't say no.
Oh, looking forward to that. Jasmine, just want to say thank you so much for your time today. I know we've taken a little bit longer than expected, but had so much to cover. And secondly, because you've done so well. I mean, in this short amount of time on The Apprentice, and for you to kind of take it to a completely different level, especially for Asian women, Asians full stop, you've done so well. And also, I may add, and it's a very kind of stereotypical, very kind of a typical thing rather, being an Asian woman, married, you know, supporting your husband at the same time, you know, being the doted daughter-in-law, because I know your family and they're amazing, and for you to be where you are and you're doing a mainstream BBC One show, which is fantastic, and still also, you know, doing your own job as well at the same time. It's just non-stop for you, isn't it?
I think as you know, as women in general, we take on so much and we make it look really effortless. And you know, women juggle family life, work life, children, and try to find time for themselves and supporting husbands and partners and your family. It is a lot, and I think women are amazing at doing that. And you know, we don't really sweat and we just take everything in our stride. And you know, it's great to be able to have a family that supports you and allows you. Once you've sort of, you know, you have everything else taken care of, it's really important to make that time for yourself and follow your own dreams as well. And you're talking about, you know, saying this is such a dissy thing to say, Raj. One of my favourite things about being on The Apprentice has been the way that the Asian community has rallied around me. I feel so honoured to be actually representing everybody. I feel like I am. I feel like it's a real privilege. And I've heard so many different people, even just people on the street, have come up to me and said, every Wednesday night we all get together and we watch The Apprentice. We've been watching it together as a family. You know, I think that's a wonderful thing, because as times move forward, we all become very, very caught up in our own lives and
segregated, and you know, you need that kind of family time back.
You do. You come back, and it's great to be able to share something as a family. So I feel really proud that I've been able to create those family TV nights for people. It's such a lovely thing.
I don't know what we're going to do on Wednesday nights now that you're not part of it anymore.
Well, I've heard Gon Banega Karur reviews on, so
that's ending as well.
Really,
the current series ending.
We're doomed. We'll just have to start our own TV show.
Well, actually, I was going to say, when you mentioned the Kundras, I said, keeping up with the Kundras. I think
keeping up with the Kundras, that's got a good ring to it, actually. Yes, maybe. There's definitely enough happening in our lives. I feel like I'm struggling to keep up with the Kundras at the moment, so that'd be really interesting.
Social media, quickly. So you're quite active on social media?
I am now. Yeah. I'm brand new to it all. I'm figuring out how to Insta story and tweet and what have you. But yes, I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, and I'm also on Snapchat. So I'd love to have everybody following me.
Fantastic. Jasmine Kundra, right?
Yes.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Jasmine. It has been so good seeing you. And so all the best with everything. And I'm sure you're going to keep us posted with whatever you do next.
Absolutely.
And say hi to Navin as well.
I will do.
The word's out there now. Yeah.